I know, man. Yeah, I was like ready. I was like, I had all this stuff. I was ready to talk, and it froze on me. Yeah, yeah, man. I was that drive to Fort Wayne 2 times in a week. Not so great for me. So I stayed home, watched it on track, and then I missed out on this cheesecake. If I knew the cheesecake was coming, I would have made the run. It looked good, man. It looked it's talking and teasing, man, with that cheesecake. Maybe. Well, I got this original Macintosh. I'm doing it from here. I got a Dell over here. It was on that hot discount. No, I laid on my couch the whole day. I literally did nothing on Saturday at all, but sit from my couch and watch wrestling. But it's a lot easier. Like obviously, you could sit and watch the whole duel, and I'll pick duels to watch. And then I'm watching the dashboard on my phone, and I'm like, okay, there's a match I want to see, so I can switch to Mat 11 and or Mat 4 or the 2A or the 1A, and I don't have to like jump around. They do a good job there. I mean, if no one's ever been there, you should really go because man, it's really cool. Um, but the atmosphere is really good there. But for like, and they do a nice job on the PA announcing like when guys are going up, and they use the rankings, which is really cool. Also, they said there's no audio. That's because Joe's eating, guys. He's eating this cheesecake. So definitely like it's a lot easier for my point of view since I live in Lowell, which is a good 4 hours away from you guys
Can you guys
to
hear me
sit at
now?
home.
Can you hear me now? I hear
I can
myself
hear you.
echoing. Let's see. Hopefully, people can hear me because I can kind of hear myself now.
Some
Let's
people are saying they
see.
can. Maybe.
Uh, oh, geez,
So this is
everyone's
gonna
trying
be
to.
tough. I gotta carry this whole thing now,
Yes. Audio output.
huh?
There we go. That should be good. You can hear me, right?
They
Okay.
said
Yep. Okay,
yes.
they hear me now. Okay, good.
So a lot easier to watch from the comfort of my home. Definitely lot of great wrestling. The picks that we did um, at the Double Eagle, not as good. I went back and listened to them, but I was I was misled.
Yeah. No, I think a couple of the teams, like I said, like 2A kind of where it was a lot about matchups and stuff, and I think Belmont and Garrett both matched up with the other teams pretty well.
I wish I wish I would have said, "Hey, these are the guys that watch the show more. They're commenting on here all the time. I would have went with them." Garrett's always on here. Should have went with Garrett. But, we were in Belmont. I could have been a fan favorite. I could have got the house going. No one picked Belmont to win. I should have picked Belmont. They won it. Probably the closest duel, right? Came down to the last match.
Yeah,
I think Cathedral and Mater Day was sealed pretty much at 38. I mean, it'd have been really tough for them to come back. They would have needed some monster points. But what was the final in the 1A? I thought North Posey kind of ran away with it, right?
yeah, they did. They won the bracket. I kind of hear an echo, but I'll be able to survive here. North Posey, 48-21.
Yeah. So
It was a little bit
two A.
closer.
That was like right in that downtime also when I think they were like setting the finals for 3A. 3A ran a little long, so that Brownsburg Mater Day. I think that was the last one going of that round, right?
Yeah, and I know we're getting ready to start, and the 2A match was going on, so you kept hearing, all the commotion and stuff, and trying to look down a couple mats. That's the only bad thing about being, I'm also a decent, bigger wrestling fan, so I wanted to go watch some matches, but the schedule made it was much easier for everybody, and the only thing is I didn't have the buys, so I can go and watch very much other than when we were done and we were waiting for other things to get going. So audio needs to be up now.
Yeah. It was good. It was a good duel. I got to watch most of it. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of good matchups in there. Started at 70, so I'm sure, Garrett got to send probably one of their better guys, if not probably their best guy, right? We'd safe to say Fielding's their best guy.
Yes, by far.
I don't want to say that, Joe, but he's good. He's really good. So, I mean, you send him out, so that's your first match. You probably want to close with that one. I was hoping, as a fan, and obviously those guys have more of a vested interest because they're fans of actually those teams. But just as a general fan, I was hoping it would end on something like 106 on that one. Like, wouldn't it be cool to see Brady and Ike, because those are two guys that I've seen wrestle with Al Smith, and I know Ike had got him a little bit in the first one, and then it was close to the second one. But those are two ranked guys going for it. But I thought it was really cool. Belmont pulled it out, and congratulations to those guys. They've always been awesome with us. Obviously Dane does a lot of stuff with the site, does the rankings. He's really good. And then I seen isn't it like fitting? I told him this too, that a freak closed it out. Like, 'cause there's so many good Belmont names. Like, if you go through, Dane has this awesome Belmont history book that they're selling, like basically the history of Belmont wrestling. And every kid on their team, they put like almost like a wrestler lineage on their profile of people that they're related to that wrestled for Belmont. And obviously, Freets have been there forever. And I think he said, what was it? His grandfather just passed away recently. I don't think it was this year, but to close it out, I know that, was it John? Is the grandfather John Freet?
When I don't have the magazine, but yeah, they have a long history, and that's a pretty cool book that Dane put together there. So hopefully you guys can hear me better. I'll just speak louder. So yeah, no, that's
Trying to see. Where is it at? But like, that's just one of those names that is like always been. Yeah, John, Grandpa John would have been awful proud. John Freet. So Rubo Brady, 3 at semi-state. I believe it, man. Those guys are good. I think whoever gets one of those guys in the quarter. I mean, obviously, I don't know the state bracket, but like, someone's gonna get the loser of that matchup in the quarterfinals Saturday morning. according to my rankings, I think both those guys are medalists, and that's going to be a handful for a semi-state champ.
Yeah. 1A, one thing, crazy thing that happened at 1A is the one pool, each team beat each other, so one with each other. And at the D pool, where Adams Central beat Southridge beat.
Congrats to Southridge too. I think we kind of slept on those guys, right?
Yeah.
Like just with Prairie Heights and Adams Central and Southridge and North Posey, man.
Yeah. No, it was Centerville beat Adams Central, Adams Central beat Southridge, then Southridge beat Centerville, and then Southridge ended up having the most points, I guess, is how they did it. So that was pretty interesting to see. And then like Southridge was runner up, Adams Central was runner up in their pool, and then Centerville ran through the 9th place bracket pretty easily. So all those teams probably could have been split up a little bit better. You know.
Yeah, men's tough.
I mean, they all could have been in the finals, really. I mean, Southridge beat Prairie Heights a little bit worse than, just as bad as they beat Centerville and stuff. So that'd be a very interesting matchup. So.
Yeah, I seen Centerville was able to run Gabe Phillips out there. I was wondering, I know he's been injured. That's a guy that just kind of strapped it up for the squad, man. Went out there I don't think he wrestled all the matches, but pretty good, man. That's a guy that you need in your line, especially in the 1A when you get you're probably their best guy. I would say their best guy probably has their career wins. But you can run him out there and get some wins. And he was at 45. I had him at 52 the whole year. And then, so 1A always really good. But I think that was the coolest thing when I went there. I think the last 2 years I went.
Hello? Our internet is not good today.
Watched.
Mike, that's a great episode. Hello. Hello. Yeah, we lost somebody. Jeez. We keep losing Mike today. And we'll try to get Mike again. It's gracious. Take 3. Or 4. Whatever it is. Are you there then, Mike?
There we go.
There we go. Take 6 on our audio. I gotta figure out what's going on with my audio. I could just go with the...
That's great. Johnny Hughes, that's great.
Can you guys hear me now? Hopefully they can hear me, because that's coming through there. Let's see. I'm probably getting texts and everything. Okay. Anyway, you were saying.
I'm not sure, man. Pretty good. I said the 1A just they bring a lot of excitement. It's pretty cool. Really good atmosphere. Dane's sending me a bunch of stats right now. The seeds 20-4 in 3A, 18-6 in 2A.
Yes. Okay.
So waiting on that 1A and 19-5 in the 1A. I mean, obviously, like Dane does an amazing job. I don't think that's a surprise to anybody. He put so much into it. I'm sure he ran these duels a million times before he went to the seeding. Obviously, he's not coaching those teams, so he doesn't know bumps or, like you can only go on the information you have. I'm sure there was some information that he didn't have that ended up changing some of the matchups, but very much.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Oh, crap. Okay, we're back. Anyway, go ahead.
I just read. So when my audio keeps cutting out, I just keep reading the messages. What's up, everybody? I like that everyone's saying what up on here. I did see the East Chicago heavyweight only has 2 losses. One's to I think he lost to the Gavitt kid, correct? And then the Boone Grove kid. I haven't seen the Boone Grove kid, so.
Yeah. Oh, they're saying you're gone again, but I have you. Great episode. So, yeah, Dane did a great job, as usual. So, that's always, we always know that they're going to do a good job. So, anyway, yeah, he just sent us all the upsets. Columbia East over Roncalli. Roncalli did not have Little Lowry and I think a couple other people. Their lineup didn't look as strong as they usually are. Mishawaka over Avon, Carmel over Perry, and Roncalli over Avon, which those are 6 over 5 and 8 over 7. Those aren't bad.
Yeah, good rebound for Carmel also, right? Because I think Carmel and Perry wrestled early on. I don't think it was very close.
Yeah, Carmel beat him pretty badly, I think. So, okay. Anyway, hopefully no more technical difficulties.
Hopefully.
So we'll go on any other. 1A, North Posey dominated, kind of as we all predicted. Everything else was kind of a crapshoot, to say the least.
Yeah.
And then
2A I thought was really good. I mean, obviously we talked about that. Now 3A. I mean, 3A obviously those are the biggest schools in the state. A lot of them. Now I'm finding out that maybe they're not. I seen it on the board today. A lot of those guys requalified. I know Mater Dei's small, and then it sounded like Cathedral could be a 2A, but those guys are really good, man.
Yeah, 2A is very interesting. I kind of knew it was going to be about matchups, and I thought it was more solid. I guess they weren't. And then Oak Hill, I think, had a couple people out from what I heard. And they got beat by Columbia City. It came down to the last match, and I'd say, Hardcastle probably was a little bit of a favorite there. And if he would have just won, it would have been tied, and then it would have gone to the first criteria, which was a team point deduction. So Oak Hill would have won there. But Columbia City did a good job getting into where they got. I thought they were on a real good match earlier in the season. Not as good as a lot better match than they did in the semis. So, and then Garrett beat Western pretty bad, and also beat OC pretty bad, who was seated a little bit above them.
Yeah, I mean, OC the defending state champs. I think that was really good. Obviously, Garrett came to wrestle. I thought they did an amazing job, and they were right there to the end at the state championship match.
Yep. So 3A, let's go over individual performances. We're gonna have a new number 1 at 1. Blake Borman lost twice.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the bigger surprises. I mean, not that he lost to bad guys, guys that we didn't think we knew there was going to be good matches, but we weren't sure exactly what was going to go on there. And then any other...
I definitely thought 138 could be the deciding factor for those duels. Logan Bailey, you have Borman, and you have Drake Campbell. I mean, those are 4 guys that are in the top 10 in the state. I'm not sure where Ross is at. He had to take a loss early on. And then even there, I thought Kuntz was going to be in there too. So your top 5 teams were stacked at 38. And Carmel was 6, so even Mattingly is really good. So 38 was just a really good weight. And then Kuntz goes to 32. I seen he wrestled some 32, which is huge for the state series. I think that he's a top 5 guy probably when the rankings come out at 32, if that's where he's going to stay. I seen his mom was in here, so maybe we should clear that up. He wrestled 45 last year. I believe he was a ticket rounder at 45 at Evansville. So
yeah, that's a big thing.
believe that that was like one of those weights overall. I was going to be really good.
Yeah. 32 is very interesting. Obviously, Kuhn's jumping down.
Nick's right. Reeve bouncing back from Al Smith. I mean, across the board, I mean, there was a ton of good matches. You had 1 and 2, Logan Miller, or 1 and 3, Logan Miller, Suhas Chundi, Carmel, and Brownsburg, and Miller was able to get the overtime win. So he secured his 1 spot, which is pretty impressive because, I mean, obviously, Joni said he's sticking at 32. I mean, I think he's right up there. So I think, I mean, a guy that was a ticket rounder a year ago at 145, now wrestling 32. So I think that he's going to be in the mix. I mean, obviously, he wrestled Logan Wagner to the death at the Al Smith.
Yeah, and not down to 32 is pretty huge for.
I thought Mishawaka Modern Day. Yeah, I thought the pools all played out pretty well. How I kind of thought they were going to do. I was surprised to see Brownsburg shut out Penn. I mean, obviously Penn's really good at heavyweight, and Hezzy, who was ranked number 2, took 2 losses. He lost to Reeve. I see everyone in there talking about it, and then he lost to Keys, the returning state champ. So, good rebound for Reeve. I mean, I don't think he had the Al Smith that he wanted, and then turned around and had a great day Saturday.
Yeah, he wrestled well, and Hubbard's no slouch by any means. I think he has a few losses, but he's a tough guy. I mean, he only lost to Keys 1-0, and tossed Keys out of bounds, didn't drag his feet.
Yeah.
A guy that you can't overlook going to the state series. I know he's kind of 10 to 15-ish, but he's one that could pull a couple upsets on at state. So. You were talking about the Mishawaka and Modern Day match.
I mean, he wrestles a ton. Yeah. It wasn't as close as I think going in there, it felt like a pretty close score. There was a couple spots here or there, but 48-18. But they started at 38. Then Modern Day ran a couple off. That's the match that Fitz had to sit out. And then you go 82, 95, 220 heavyweight. That's where Mishawaka is really good,
Yeah.
So,
that was,
at the end, it ended up being Modern Day too much. Big. But I thought that was a good pull. Yeah. Walker looked really good. He's been looking awesome.
Any other good?
Where else? Freegee and at 52. Cade Law was a really good match. Ended up being sudden victory 8-6. So that was Cade Law's first loss. Al Smith champ, and those guys are both top 10 guys. Pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I was happy to see at 160. I was hoping. I literally don't have any votes either way. I mean, I was happy to see the Irish win at 3A. I had Modern Day picked, I thought, but the Irish took care of business in a lot of spots and got bonus points where they were getting falls. And I thought it was really impressive in the Brownsburg Modern Day match. There were no falls. Like, there were 0 pins. And I think that's just kind of goes back to what this event was about back when it was an IHSAA thing, was like your average guy's got to go out there and save bonus points, or the best they can. Obviously, every point matters in a duel like that. And there was like major tech, but there was no pins in that match, I'm pretty sure. Where Cathedral was able to get those falls. I was hoping that Modern Day Cathedral was coming down to 160, Dickens and Rogers. I mean, that was the last match, and Dickens held it out, but I was hoping that was going to be the deciding match of the duel.
Yeah, the first match there, Wagner over Solers in overtime was huge. Cathedral ran off some bonus points, some pins, 220, 285, 106. That's huge. And then a major for Seltzer over Freeman.
I think this is always a cool event. Yeah, I think it's always a cool event where you dude, there's some guys pulling out some tricks, right? Like Brownsburg like cut their guys down. So like they're 60-52, go to 45-52, and you're like, whoa, they're gonna, these are, guys that are ranked in the state. They're gonna be down wrestling, and at that point it didn't end up working out for them. I think that Bowerman, who I know that's Philly, MD Philly fan, his sleeper pick beat Cookery 5-2. I think it was 3-2 and he gave a takedown late, and then Fitz beat Asbury. So I mean. But those were like kind of moves that I didn't see coming, like those guys coming down a weight.
Yeah, that was with the 2 pound allowance.
Man, Leighton Jones is really good, right? For a freshman at 220.
Yeah. Yes, he is. I know 2 pound allowance, it makes things a little more interesting with cut and dice got down for state. I mean, I know we had a kid that filled in and couldn't make with the 2 pound allowance, so he made the weight and helped the team out. But at those schools, doing that, it's huge.
Oh yeah, I mean you're talking. I mean those could be swings, and I think Cicerelli is really good. He was in there and they threw Ison out at 60. He wrestled Dickens and he didn't get the pin. He didn't give up the fall. So as I look at it, I see a tech fall in there. Another tech fall. Yeah, no pins across the board. So I think that's pretty amazing thing. And that dual atmosphere, like that's just one of those things you don't see. We did the dual Friday night, and it was just there's some big pins in there. Obviously, it's a little bit different atmosphere, but not a single fall. And that's where Cathedral kind of took it to modern day. Was where they were able to get falls where Brownsburg wasn't. And it's not that Brownsburg's not good at those weights, because I would say 220, David Gould and Leighton Jones probably on that same type of level, right? Gould gets that stick in 131. Holden Parsons, Dorian Keys, kind of same level. Both, Dorian Keys returning state champ. He gets a fall. Those are huge points. Logan Miller, number 1 ranked at 106. He gets did he get tech fall over Egley, or he got a major?
Tech.
And then Dickey gets a fall over Reed Egley. So.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of modern day kids giving up bonus points like that. Just giving up I know someone had posted on there. Someone said after 38 it was over. I mean, 32-26. Parsons, that's 1. Gold 2. Egley 3. I mean, that's 3 big points right there. You take those off the board, those sticks, then you're coming down to Dickens and Rogers.
Yeah, I mean, you take one of those.
Pretty interesting day, I think, those teams.
Yeah, it's a long day, and I mean, it actually wasn't as long as it was in the past, which is nice. But yeah, it was 4 real good duels.
And Cathedral's been on fire. I don't know. I know there was a lot of talk about Crown Point. Crown Point should be there, but Cathedral really took care of business at the Al Smith. So I don't think it changes the result. Maybe the top 4, but I don't think it changes the top 2 result.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of great matches, and I think all of the 3A matches have been input into the system. So if you do have any, feel free to add your individual results.
Shout out, man.
Yeah, makes things a lot easier. And I know I was looking through today.
Rankings done up, so
I was looking through today and seeing if anyone that is missing or recovery results and trying to, because you should have one by now.
Oh yeah, there's some guys that are injured that haven't been in that you never get that information until you pull them out of the rankings. When they come out of the rankings is when everyone's like, oh, like, where'd he go? Like, he's coming back. He was injured. Like, oh, okay. I appreciate that heads up now.
Yeah. You always get them after you pull them out. Don't freak out. So, there really wasn't much else.
Oh, yeah.
Anything you want to talk to more about Team State?
Man, I just think that's a pretty amazing thing, man. I thought that Carmel Brownsburg duel was pretty good. What'd that end up being? I don't think it ended up being that close, but I think there was some matches in there where that was what 6-3, the 6-3 duel.
That was 39-12. It was close early.
But those guys wrestled well. You know, I think you know it's just you can't get with those big fall points, man. When you're watching, I get to see a bunch of guys that I don't normally get to see across the state. So it was good to see the modern day guys because obviously I'm not going down to Evansville to watch those duels. So you kind of get a better idea where they kind of fall in the rankings at this point of the year.
Yeah, there were only 2 falls in the Brownsburg Carmel match. First 2 matches were overtime. And then you had a 106 ultimate tiebreaker match. So a lot of good close matches that could have made it a little bit closer.
Oh yeah. Because I don't know if Singh has been I think that's kind of, I don't want to say like their weak spot, but I know that he's not like a highly ranked guy in their lineup, and he went out and got a fall in 2 minutes, like right at the end of it. And I know he wrestled Kane Egley tough, so shout out to him, a guy getting in there and getting better every week because that was the first I've seen him, and I know that he probably didn't have the Carnahan when they were up here that he wished that he would have had, you know, but he ended up having a really good day on Saturday.
Yeah, and they always have those guys wrestle on the duels, and they kind of take that as pride to not get pinned against better guys like Egley and things like that.
Oh yeah, I mean that's kind of what it comes down to. Like I said, like that's the big thing of where you can save points. I mean, I remember being in some of those duels and being told that like, hey, like you have to save points here. So way back when, not now, but a long time ago.
Let's see. Man. Any other? Oh, we got a Lowry versus.
It looked like Perry Meridian Warren was a good duel also.
Yeah. You had Lowry versus Ray Rio.
Ray Rio.
It was 1-0 late, and I saw Lowry was on his back at the end of the match, which is very interesting. I mean, as this guy peeked over and here's some commotion going on. Vidui over Jaden Rolls 5-2. You had, I don't think there were bigger matches. Let's see.
I just think that's like a really cool event, man. They do such a good job of bringing like the top talent in there. And I know there's some teams that decline. Someone asked me how come Chesterton wasn't in, and I said maybe I don't remember Chesterton being like a vote-in, but you know, hopefully the teams that keep declining end up getting in and are able to go down there because I don't know if there's a tougher day of like overall duels. Like when you got guys like Blake Borman taking 2 L's there, I'm sure. I was saying like, when was the last time he's taken 2 losses in a day in Indiana, not like a national tournament?
Yeah, no, not often. And it's
Probably
a
been
great
a while.
day of wrestling. The adjustment they made with 18 mats was nice. Getting out 7, I'm not gonna lie, it was nice. But it was a great day of wrestling. Great facility. It's spacious, and you're not on top of each other. So if people want it closer to Indy, and I understand, but find a place that can house the events like it is here. If you look behind me, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
So
it's big. It's nice. I think it's well ran. I don't know where you would put it at other than the Coliseum does a good job. Every time I go somewhere, I'm always jealous that our semi-state's at a high school. The Ford Arena in Evansville, super nice. The Coliseum, super nice. I mean, Newcastle is a little older now. I know Johnny's on here, but I know it's a little older, but it's still super nice. East Chicago's nice, but I want an arena. I want to have it like an arena like you guys have it at.
yeah, I mean this is in the.
We had to deal with Maryville semi-state for so long. It was the tightest semi-state.
this is even where our semi-states held. It's actually a true arena, just like Baker's Life and such. So it's very nice to have space and not be cramped. And see Fieldhouse always will be number one in our hearts. I guess that's it for Team State. I'm sure Dane will have some rankings out pretty soon. Pretty much probably the final dual rankings. I don't think they're going to change much in the state series, since this is kind of the end of the dual season, basically. You're probably having rankings out early this week.
Yeah, I was able to kind of move some guys around as it's going on, and you're seeing results. So the rankings on a spreadsheet on my phone, I'm always kind of mixing them up. But that top 10, it usually starts off like that top 6. They don't really change, and then now it's looking like the top 10 to 11 are like pretty solid guys. And then once like the sectional draws come out, that's when I feel really confident, because you see the guys where if I miss someone, maybe someone's trying to skate through, and you find out they're 35-0 and 35 falls, and they've been pinning all these guys that didn't send anything in. But I think we're going to be at like the top 10 are pretty solid across the board. So excited to get those out. I think East Chicago did not much change. There wasn't a lot of East Chicago wrestlers at the team state. I think Attica was the only East Chicago Penn and Mishawaka. So not a lot of representation from the west corner of the state. Is that it?
I'm sure we'll be getting some Fort Wayne ones soon.
Pretty sad.
A couple things going on this week. I guess we're at the Hobart Crown Point match. You want to make a few comments on that?
Yeah, we did the live broadcast there. I thought they'd pull. I was just reading. I'll keep that in mind. I have the password so I can go back and watch that match. We did the live broadcast there. I thought it would do a pretty good number with everyone out at Fort Wayne and not a lot of guys wrestling a Friday night duel. I thought it'd be closer. I thought like matchup wise, I thought they kind of matched up better. But man, Crown Point kind of took it to them. I was surprised at the final score. It wasn't ever in doubt. Started at 113, which is where Crown Point's pretty strong. They were able to close with 113 or 106, who was number 2 ranked guy. So definitely. But I thought like 13 would be a good matchup. Two highly ranked guys, and Crown Point just caught fire and ran it through. I think they won 13, 20, 26, 32. They threw a backup out to wrestle Jesse. He ended up getting a big win. Obviously, you got to fall. 38, they bumped Hobart bumped Padilla. They're 32 up, and Crown Point threw a semi-state qualifier who's a backup now out, and he was able to beat Padilla. So then they moved to Teeny up to 45. He got a win. So they didn't have Goodwin in, who's I think coming back from an injury. They bumped Cruz up to 52. So you had a top ranked 45 against a ranked 52. Cruz got a win there. It was a pretty good match. 60, Dinger got a win. And the Hobart didn't get their first win to 70 at that point. Like, it was, they couldn't come back. I think after like 45, I think the score was to the point where I didn't think they could get, or after 52, I don't think they could come back. Hobart did a great job. They had the spotlight. They had a hype video. It was pretty good. They had a line out the door. It was a packed gym. A lot of alumni there. I think Coach Cook tweeted out the picture of how many people were there. It was just, an amazing event, man. They really made it like an event, which I think was really cool. The number for the views was crazy. It's always crazy. I think had 10 times the viewers of like the basketball game that was going on. It was like Munster and like Lake Central basketball or something. And at one point, I think we had 10 times the amount of viewers that they had, like watching live. I'm finding out that like other sports in the state don't really like have that. Like, Yeah, they don't have that community like wrestling does, where a lot of people around the state have relationships with these guys, and I guess no one cares about Munster and Lake Central basketball in the south of probably Lake County.
Yes. Unless grandma and grandpa are.
But it was, yeah, we get a bunch of people. It's just like one of those crazy things. Like wrestling's such a weird community where everyone, you do all these dual teams, and we'll talk about the elementary duels in a little bit also. But you're doing all this summer stuff, and it was really cool where Tyler and Trevor Triana's grandma was there. I guess she's was diagnosed with lung cancer. Like the sweetest lady, Grandma Rose, and like her favorite wrestler is Jessie Mendez. So Jessie came up, gave her a hug before the match, and she was all extra excited, even though her team's competing against Crown Point. And you see like Joe really in it. I think we get like a wide audience. Hobart did a really good job of setting it up. Coaches put on there. They did awesome, man. They had a full house, like no joke. It was packed. The Hobart side was packed. The Crown Point side was packed. And then you still got a ton of people watching at home. So yeah, Cruz did grind out a good one, man. Orlando Cruz, I was kind of sleeping on him early. I didn't give him as much credit, but like just watching him wrestle the year so far is like 2 losses to Ellis. Dude, that guy could be a state semifinalist. And with the right draw, maybe he's under the lights at 45. He's really good. No, I don't blame him. Jessie is awesome. We talked about that at Who's Number One, the amount of Indiana people that came out to watch Jessie compete at that, where it's like a vast, like people around the state coming out, and it just, speaks to his character.
Yeah, definitely.
Just a really cool atmosphere, man.
Yeah.
If you guys go to Coach Cook's or the Hobart Wrestling Twitter page, man, you can see how.
I was just saying the Indiana wrestling fans are pretty rabid and pretty knowledgeable. I hope that Indiana Matt has played a little bit of part in that, but it's one. You can tell that a lot of people follow wrestling within the state, not just their little section. They follow the whole state, which is pretty cool. And you probably don't get that with the other sports as much, mainly because we're a single class, and people from Indy are like, hey, I want to see what Hobart and so that's pretty cool to see that they're seeing that as our, people from around the state are watching those matches.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't checked it, like not to like be like, oh man, like I'm such I pat myself on the back, but I know that those dudes do a ton. Like they always tell me like the wrestling does the biggest amount of things. Like the only thing they've ever had that was even on the scale is like Lowell, like football, which in Lowell it's pretty big, and then now the Hobart semi-state. But like it's like those are like 1 and 3, and it's like wrestling the next like 20. Which is really cool for us, like as a state, like we're able to really like, get out there and, show all that stuff where, I love it. I love that I'm able to, that they let me be a part of that. I'm trying to see the views. It has like 7,000, just under 7,000 views right now for Hobart and Crown Point on the Region Sports page. So, and then people go on there and they love hearing me just talk nonsense. So.
Hey.
It was a good duel. Definitely one of the better duels. I think it's a top 3 team in the region. What's up? Yeah, 6.7 thousand views right now on their Facebook.
That's great.
But you can kind of see the atmosphere, how what Hobart put together. You can kind of see the amount of the crowd. We were we had an official on there with the call, and he was talking just like how it feels to be out there, and like we talked about it with Rex on the show with Dane, where thanks Jason, where he said he would do matches in the region, and it's just a different, they're in it, man. And we did the duel with Perry and Cathedral a couple of years ago, and they were in it. But man, like I'm telling you, like we were sitting in the Hobart side, and there were some calls that maybe didn't go Hobart's way, and I thought they were like ready to go out there and fight. Like they were like pumped. Like they were like, not only were they like knowledgeable fans, they were like intense. So it was a pretty cool atmosphere. I like that atmosphere for wrestling. It made it feel like a big duel, and I think Hobart did a good job. And I love that Hobart and Crown Point got together because they don't have to wrestle that duel. That's not a conference duel. Hobart's not in the DAC anymore, but that's a cool duel to have on there. I would love to see Hobart and Portage. I think back like late '90s, early 2000s, Hobart Portage was like one of the coolest duels. They would wrestle their team semi-state. That would be like the big showdown. Hobart, Crown Point, Portage, and I think that like 299 team was like one of the better duels with, a lot of the guys that their kids are starting to come through those programs now.
Yeah, definitely. That's pretty neat. A couple other things.
What's the hype duel in the Wayne, Joe? Who's the big showdown?
The Garrett Carroll match, maybe. I don't know. The Wayne doesn't have too many hype duels. So, moving on. Duels were today.
I know, like one year they had like the team semi-state was like Yorktown Belmont. Right?
Yeah. Yorktown Belmont used to be a knockout and drag out event, and that was always that team regional, and those two teams did not like each other at all.
I think that's what makes it cool, man. I don't think there's bad blood between like Hobart and Crown Point. I didn't feel that way, but it just like it was just an intense atmosphere. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Probably back in the day, those Delta Muncie Southside, right?
Oh yeah, I bet those were probably pretty gruesome. So yeah, that was they used to be really good. Those two schools. That was a little bit before my day.
I think I was just being born when those schools were like at their peak.
Yes.
Like early '80s. Sorry, we talk about the elementary school duels, the future of Indiana wrestling.
Yes. I think we have a little bit of a delay in hearing each other. So, elementary duels, Avon, Crown, Hobart. So obviously, powers that we currently have. So that's pretty impressive to see. Chester, Heritage Hills, then Leo and Indian Creek. So the Wayne is coming back. Don't worry. Anything you know about these schools or any of the elementary stuff? Because I don't know much.
I know that it's a lot of your community, but you can kind of bring some kids in. So like as I'm going through some of the lineups, you get to see some guys that were like kind of free agents. Like I think what do you get, like two?
Yeah,
I think you get like two like guys that you can bring in that are kind of like, well, I think they call them wild cards. I know Hobart had two really good wild cards. Crown Point, I think that was mostly Crown Point kids. I seen that some of them were middle school kids also, right? Like some middle school kids are able to compete. I've seen Landon Hawkins was in there. So Bill's son, he was undefeated on the day. I seen Avon had another chef and a couple other kids that looked like they were pretty solid. It's cool to see, like they have a couple Rios in their lineup. Lincoln Carter at 98 tore it up. I know, Evan Stanley's a Lowell kid. He wrestled with Hobart. He wrestled with DC's team in Virginia Beach a couple weeks ago. So it seems like that sixth grade class is gonna be like the next like wave of like region guys. Like as I look at the youth forum, which is always well done. It looks like Brownsburg's gonna be really tough. They have some guys getting ready to like refill their lineup, and then like the guys from the region are like sixth graders getting ready to come in. So, Coach Cook said Evansville Mater Dei broke their heart. I seen a bunch of Mater Dei posts too, which is really cool. Some of the parents, posting results and things like that, which is always really neat.
Yeah, they had a last match with Hobart and Mater Dei, kind of reminiscent of the state finals in like '99 or something like that.
Yeah, '99. That was we talked about that on the broadcast. We wrestled them at the team semi-state that year. It was not close. Calumet ran into like Portage at the team semi-state one year, like '98 when they had like Bradbury and Stephen Stanfill and Eric Keith and all those guys. And the next year we went back to the team semi-state and we had that Hobart team that had like Alex Ramos and Manny Ramirez and Ryan Story, or Manny Rodriguez and Ryan Story and all those guys. So definitely pretty tough. Trying to see the modern day one here. Modern day Hobart, 37-40. Modern day got a fall at heavyweight.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know if that's where they started, but sounds like a pretty good duel.
That's modern day, like, breaking people's hearts.
I just think it's cool when you go in there and you look and you see a lot of like the same names. Yeah.
Yeah, now you
I
see
mean, when
a lot
you look
of
at
same,
like Cantu, he wrestled at Hobart. I know Wesley's on the staff over there. And we always talk about that with modern day, where they always have a bunch of dudes that are, you got a Schaefer in there, maybe two Schaefers in there, maybe there's Schaefer's kids. I don't know his like family thing, but I'm betting there's some kind of relation.
Oh yeah. Moving on a little bit. This week we do have the women's regionals. Always good that is moving on and getting bigger and better for the girls. And good luck to all those girls out there. If anyone would like to help with any coverage, that would be awesome, because that's a little bit hard for all of us to cover. So putting out there. Women's Wrestling Gurus, you can get lots of free Indiana Mat gear if you do a good job. So I don't know what else to say, but it's great to see that is moving on and getting better and better, and hopefully it keeps growing and it becomes a sanctioned sport soon.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to get some, Indiana girl rankings and stuff going too. Like, obviously, they were talking about on one of the Double Eagle shows with Dane and Rex. Belmont has two girls that have been improving. I know Penn has like a full team, right? I seen that they tweeted out a picture. They have like a full lineup.
Yeah, they do. And obviously, having someone like Sarah Hildebrand come through your system helps out tremendously, because she's kind of good at the wrestling stuff.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting how they do it, kind of how like freshman sophomore state is, right? They have a northern qualifier and a southern qualifier. Then whoever, what is it, like top four from that go to the state finals, or how does it work?
It's the qualifiers, and I think is it top 8? It might be top 8. Top 8 advance, and they will fill in the bracket if, say, one regional has 6 girls and the other has 10. Those other two to make it a 16 woman bracket. So that's good. They make it as full as possible, and it's great night wrestling.
Where are those two locations at? I mean, I was just on the event. I clicked out of it.
Give me a second.
We're not always the most prepared.
Never. Not quite as prepared as a minute by minute what we are talking about. I almost felt like we'd go off tangent a little bit, and we didn't.
Oh,
We
yeah.
kept this line.
He does a really good job.
Edgewood.
It looks like the northern one's at Maganaqua. How do you say that? How do you guys say that out there?
It's Bunker Hill, Maconaquah, Indiana.
Nice.
And Maconaquah High School in Bunker Hill, I think.
Bunker Hill, Indiana.
Very good cell
Where's that
reception
located
there.
for you guys towards Fort Wayne?
It's in the middle of nowhere, just west of Peru. Bring up the map. Bunker Hill, Indiana.
Oh, that ain't that bad.
Yeah,
Peru is
just
just
south
like
of Peru.
kind of like south of Plymouth, right?
Yeah, just east of Logansport.
Yeah,
just
I'm
south
looking
of
at it
Peru.
here. So it's like east of Logansport, like south of Peru.
And then Edwards a little bit further south. But
Down
maybe
old
south.
31.
Yep.
That's like by Bloomington, right?
Yeah, right next to Bloomington. So you can go visit Angel Escobedo and all the IU wrestlers down there.
Oh man, if you're not going to see Greg Ratliff, what are you guys doing, man?
Well, good. Greg's a good guy. So, anything else you want to rant about tonight?
I don't have any rants, man. 3 shows in a week. We did last Sunday, then we did Wednesday, and then Sunday. I'm good, man. I'm all showed out for this week. I'm gonna write down some notes for next week. I got some rants for next week.
Well, next week will be our ranting show. I don't know. I haven't done my what's happening this week article yet. I will do that after we get off the air and I fix my audio issues that are driving me nuts. But I guess we're going to close out the show that had lots of technical difficulties. And we will see you guys next week.